And we said that the verb sentence is made of verb, subject, and object. Okay, let me select here the, okay, right here. It's made of verb, subject, and object, or verb, object, and subject. So the object and the subject, they can exchange places. They can be they can switch places. And the way we know which one is the object, which one is the subject, is by the i'rab. The subject is going to be marfu', the object is mansub. So when you have a verb plus a mansub noun, then you're talking about the mansub is the object. So when you have a verb plus mansub noun, then it is verb plus object. Or when you have a verb plus yes, when you have a verb followed by a marfu' noun, then it's this format. In other words, to distinguish from the object, between the object and the subject is mansub and the subject is marfu'. Okay. The default case subject is marfu', and the default case object is mansub. And we attach the ta based on male gender. So here, the difference between this one here, this زرع الفلاح وردة, زرع الفلاح وردة. If we want to make it female, we just add the ta ta'nif for both, for the verb and for the subject. زرعت الفلاحة وردة, because we're changing the subject from male to female. Okay. All right. So now the present tense is the same. And in order to, if we change the subject from a male to female, okay, then we notice that we also add the ta ta'nith here, female ta here, and we add the female ta here. Remember, this is if the subject is female. But if the object is female, okay, it doesn't affect the verb. Okay, so the object does not affect the verb. The subject is the one that affects the verb. So if the subject is female, then the verb is female. But if the object is female, this doesn't affect the subject. This doesn't affect the verb. Okay. All right. We have, now it's time to, the way we distinguish between the subject and the object. This is here, this is here, this is Fatimatu Zainaba. So Fatimatu is marfu' with dhamma, Zainaba is marfu' is mansub with fatha. Okay, so I know that Fatima hit Zainab because Fatima is the subject, Zainab is the object. Okay, but if I look at it here, okay, this is the subject because it has dhamma. This is the object because it has fatha. So I know that in this case, okay, Zainab hit Fatima. But in this case, Fatima hit Zainab. Okay, figure it out by the i'rab, by the tashkil. Okay, and we are doing homework 24. That's the homework that's due. Okay, and before we go to the homework, before I end the homework, the summary of the applicable rules, rule 1020-1, the past tense verb is always fatha, built in fatha, which means built-in فتحة. Okay, this is rule 1020-1. Let's see here, 1020-1. So here is 1020-1. 1020-1, which is here, is the past tense verb is always have a built-in fatha. Okay, the rules, the present tense verb is marfu' and the haraka is dam. So that's rule number 2 right here. The subject is marfu', which is rule 1140. I think I got the number wrong here. I think it's 1040. Yes, it's 1040. 1040, it says that the i'rab of the default case subject is marfu'. And 1050, the default i'rab of the case object is mansub. The default case object is mansub. Okay. And rule 290, it shows that, we go down to rule 290. It shows that for the single noun, marfu' is dhamma, regardless of if the sarf is allowed or if the sarf is forbidden, it doesn't matter. Okay, so both male or female, singular or regular plural. Okay, subject is allowed, sarf is allowed or not allowed. Marfu' is always dhamm. Okay. Okay, and mansub is fatha. Mansub is always fatha, like you see here. Regardless if it's allowed or forbidden, sarf is allowed or forbidden, it doesn't make a difference. It only makes a difference in the majroor. This comes, if it's allowed, it's dhamma, it's kasra. If it's not allowed, it's forbidden, it's fatha. But regarding marfu' and mansub, it's the same. Okay. The tanween, rule 285-1, 285-1, nouns cannot start with alif lam. I'm sorry, tanween can have tanween but cannot have kasra. Among them, number 1, nouns starts with alif lam. So we know that tanween for nouns starts with alif lam is prohibited, cannot happen. Okay, and rule 140-2, rule 140-2 says 140 still. .140, the very beginning. Rule 140 says that basically 140-2, yes. Here it says that if you have tanween fatha, you add an alif. See? If you have tanween fatha, you add an alif, just like you see right here. You don't put the tanween on the dal, you put it on the alif. Okay? An exception if we have ta marbuta or if we have hamza. Hamza works both ways. So, ma'an, muhammadan, qittatan. So anything with tanween fatha will have an alif, except if it ends with hamza or ends with ta marbuta. Okay. Rules 280, 280, and 285 identify if sarf is allowed or forbidden. Okay. All right. So now let's see here. Navigation pane. Okay. This is so that we can switch quickly between rules, because you have the rules here on the left. Okay, let's start this one. In this homework, I provided like a vocab list to make life easy. So slept is نام, bed is سرير, سرير, on is على. And here, talks يتكلم, Arabic, عربي. ate, أكل, apple, تفاحة. So we have نام, سرير, على, يتكلم, عربي, عربي, أكل, تفاحة, ولد, كتبت, درس, بنت, كتاب, صورة, ضرب, مدرس, رياضيات, علم, يعلم, علوم, يركب, حصان, ركب, ركل, كلب, الواجب. All these vocabularies, we will be using them in doing the homework. So, okay, so here, Ahmed slept on the bed. Okay, so slept is nama, on is ala, sirir is bed. So basically, simple. You say nama comes first, nama, and then on is ala. Actually, Ahmed comes next as the subject. Ahmed. Nama Ahmed, and then ala. And then سرير. نام أحمد على سرير. نام أحمد على سرير. نام, the past tense verb. Ahmed is the subject. على is on. سرير is a mattress or a bed. Okay. Now, to adjust the i'rab, for the i'rab, we know nama is a past tense verb and it has a built-in fatha. No changes. Okay. Ahmadun is sarf is forbidden. Okay. So we can't say Ahmadun. We have to say Ahmadu. Just Ahmad. Like this. Do. Can I say tanween? But tanween, no. Why? Because Ahmad sarf is not allowed for Ahmad. We spoke about this in previous homeworks. Okay. Ala is harf jar. Bed, sarir. Okay. So what is harf jar? We talked about huruf al-jar before. Okay. And one of these huruf is ala. Ala, on. Okay. And the i'rab for the prepositions, the noun following the preposition must be majroor. Must be majroor. So then sarirun is marfu' because you have dhamma, tanween dhamma, it's marfu'. Okay. So we want to make sure this is majroor because it's following a jar letter. So I go up here and see. Okay. Majroor. Here is majroor. Here. Majroor for Ahmed, which is, I'm sorry, for the Sirir. Sirir is a male noun. Is a male noun. So Sarirun is a male noun, and we want to make it majroor. Majroor. So since sarf is allowed for Sirir, that's the default. Sarf is allowed for Sirir, and that's why it has tanween dhamma here. If it wasn't, then there would be just one dhamma, not tanween dhamma. Okay, so it's allowed, sarf is allowed, so the majroor is kasra. The majroor is kasra. So majroor is kasra. So then I change this. I delete, where did I go? Yes, I deleted the tanween dhamma, and it should be changed into tanween kasra. So here and here, like that. Tanween kasra, no, tanween kasra. Tanween kasra. It's right here. So سرير نام أحمد على سرير. Let's try the Tahoma font. Yeah, the Tahoma font is nice. But where is the tanween? It's not showing. Fine. Let's stick with this font. Okay. It's just that what bothers me is that is not showing the tanween kasra here. It's showing only one kasra. So that's why I'm kind of looking for a different font. I don't know which font is going to make the kasra. Let's see here. Make the kasra show up. No. Okay, we'll figure it out. We'll figure a font that will make the tanween kasra show as tanween kasra. This is a problem with the fonts. Okay, now we go to the next example. Muhammad talks Arabic. Talks يتكلم. Arabic is Arabi. So we say Muhammad. Muhammad sarf is allowed. So I will just put it Muhammad. Muhammad, and then يتكلم. I'm sorry, يتكلم comes first. To make it a verb sentence, you can't start with Muhammad. If you start with Muhammad, then it's a noun sentence. So you want to start with the verb first, which is يتكلم, and then followed by Muhammad, followed by Arabi. Arabi. يتكلم محمدا عربي. Because there is a ya. Okay, so Muhammadun. We make the tashkil for Muhammad. Mu. Ha. Ma. Okay, now Muhammad is the subject because he's the one who talks. So who is the subject? And the subject is marfu'. Marfu' is dhamma. But is it one dhamma or tanween dhamma? It's tanween dhamma. Why not? Because Muhammad sarf is allowed. Here we had only dhamma in Ahmed. Here we have only dhamma because the Ahmed is sarf is forbidden. So we have dhamma, not tanween. But here we have tanween. Okay. And then Arabi is the language. يتكلم محمد عربي. Okay. It's mansub. And mansub is fatha. See mansub here for a single noun, which is like Muhammad is a single noun. Mansub is always fatha. Whether sarf is allowed or forbidden, it's always fatha. So now we want to put a fatha here, but I have to use an alif. Okay. So I add an alif. Why that you have to use an alif? Because it's fatha, tanween fatha goes on the top of an alif. As I reminded you with this rule right here. Rule 140-2. يتكلم محمد عربيا. Okay. You can also say يتكلم محمد العربية. You can sort of يتكلم محمد العربية. This is that's another way of saying it. You can say عربيا or العربية. عربية. يتكلم محمد العربية or عربيا. Both mean the same thing. So any one of them will just be fine. When we say Ahmed ate the apple, أكل is ate. So it comes first. To be a verb sentence, you start with the verb. And it's mabni, fatha, like this, built-in fatha, past tense verb. And then Ahmed, you can just copy Ahmed from here instead of retyping it. Ahmed. And it's Ahmadu because sarf is forbidden. So sarf is forbidden, no tanween is allowed. And tuffahatun, I'm sorry, yes, tuffahatun is going to be the object, but the object, as we know, the object is mansub. The object is mansub. And because the object is mansub, we go and figure out that mansub is always fatha for a single noun, whether the sarf is allowed or the sarf is forbidden. For a single noun, mansub is always, make it more clear here. If sarf is allowed or sarf is forbidden, mansub is always fatha for single nouns. So, okay, so then this tanween dhamma will have tanween fatha instead. Okay, can I add an alif like that and put the tanween on the top of the alif? Tufahatan like that? No, that's not possible. That's not allowed. Why? Because the ta' marbuta must be at the end of the word. You cannot have a ta' marbuta anywhere other than the end of the word. So this is why we don't do that. We just do like this. Put the fatha, write the tanween fatha on the ta'. أكل أحمد تفاحة. Okay. Now the boy wrote the lesson. Let's jump to something different here. Let's say, for example, this one here. The boy drew a picture. The picture is surah. Drew comes from we didn't do draw, huh? We didn't do draw. Okay. So drew is, now we could draw, is يرسم. Is يرسم. How do I know that? Because I know Arabic. But how do you know that? You go to the Google Translator and you see draw. Just open Google Translator. And by the way, Google Translator allows you to translate an entire paragraph or an entire document. So is rasam. So that's the past tense. Rasam. Draw, rasam, the past tense. The present tense is yarsim. This is the present tense, yarsim, because it has to start with either ya or ta. Either ya or ta for the present tense. Ya if it's a male, ta if it's a female. Okay. Here in our homework, we're using the drew, which is the past tense. So the past tense is rasama, like this. So I can copy it. Okay, you can copy it from here or copy it like this. Copy translator, translation. And then we go back to our homework. Okay. So now how does the tashkil go? We go into mishkal, and in mishkal we ask for tashkil yarsumu. That's correct. That's correct. Yarsumu. So I take that and then I go to my homework. What font was it? That is traditional Arabic. Okay. Okay. Draw. But we shouldn't be looking at draw. We should be looking at rasama, the past tense. So it's rasama. That's not, that's rasman, rasmun. Want rasama. Rasama. It's right here. Rasama. And go back to our homework. If you guys have any questions, stop me. Say, I don't understand this. Can you repeat that? Rasama. Okay, so the verb starts with the verb. The verb sentence starts with the verb. So here's the verb rasama. And what is the subject? Boys, 2M. So I know one boy is waladun. So what do I do to make waladun double instead of dual? Is waladun, we add alif noon. We add either alif noon or ya noon. Okay, for the dual, we either add alif noon or ya noon. But because it is the subject, and because it is the subject, the walad is the subject, then it's marfu'. Then we use the alif noon. If it was mansub or majroor, we use the ya noon. So alif noon, add alif noon. So you wala dani. So instead of waladun, we make it waladani. waladani. So this is the double. Again, why waladani, not waladaini? Because it's marfu', right? Yes, it's marfu'. How come it's marfu'? Because it's a subject. So waladani. Okay, so this is converting into, that's the boy, that's not what. Hold on. Yeah, I was doing this down here. Got confused. Where am I? Oh yeah, I was here. Waladani. Now, because it's the boys, then we add alif lam. So rasama al-waladani. Okay, a picture. Surah. Now, suratun is marfu' because it has tanween dhamma. Okay, but it's subject, it's the object. The object is mansoob. So I look here, this is mansoob. And if the object is mansoob for a single noun, it takes fatha. So I take this surah, and instead of making it just tanween, instead of making it tanween dhamma, we make it tanween fatha. Why? Because the object is mansoob. Suratan. Okay, you see? So I learned here how to make the waladan, al-walad waladani, which getting the double, the dual form. And suratun, I learned how to change the i'rab. Instead of showing marfu', showing mansoob. Let's do a few more. The dog ate the homework. The child kicked the dog. Let's do, let's make this 2M. Okay, let's do this. Girls rode donkey. And donkey is Omar. Was it given? No, we haven't used it before, so. Donkey is Himar. Himarun. Ha, kasra, mim, fatha, ma. Ra, tanween, dhamma, Himarun. 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 Okay, so girls rode the donkey. Girls, one girl is bent. One girl is bent. Okay, to make it 3 plus M, we know we add alif ta. So bent becomes banat. Bent becomes banat. This is to convert into regular female plural. Bent becomes banat. We drop the ta ta'nith and we add alif ta. So if I have bent, I want to make it plural, I drop ta ta'nith and then add alif ta, like that, banat. Okay, so starts with the verb rode. Rode yarkab. Rode rakiba. So the girls rode the donkey. So rakiba, rode. So you burn rakiba. Rakiba. But because it's a female, it's the subject is a female, then I add a تاء. تاء الفيميل تاء. ركبت. ركبت. Okay, and the end here there is a سكون. So add تاء التأنيث. ركبت. Okay, and then we said البنت. This is girls without determining. So there's no the girls, it's girls. So we leave it without alif. We leave it without alif lam. The donkey is himar. Okay, but because it's the donkey is alif lam, so al himar. And then here rakibat ba ma banatan, so I add the alif for the tanween. And then al-himaru ma guru. Can I have tanween here? No, I can't. Why? Because it is it is have alif lam, so you can't have tanween. But here, the himar is the object, and the object is mansoob. So the i'rab for mansoob is that it's fatha. So instead of dhamma, we put fatha. Fatha. Al-himara. Because the himar is an object. Now, tell me about a mistake that I made here. That's a subject. The subject is marfu'. So this is just like this. Banatun. Rakibat banatun al-himara. Rakibat banatun al-himara. So girls rode the donkey. Okay. Breathe. يتنفس. Again, you bring your translations from the Google Translator. I showed you how, but for me, I don't need that. Yeah. Yeah. That's all. This is Fatha. يتنفسوا. By the way, verbs don't have tanween. Verbs don't have tanween, period. Okay? Whether this is alif lam or waw noon or whatever it is. Periods. Verbs don't have tanween. At the end of the verb, you'll always find either a dhamma or a fatha. That's it. A dhamma if it's present tense or future tense, and it's fatha if it's a present tense. Okay, so breathe. So the man breathes air. So يتنفس. Okay, يتنفس. The man, الرجل. Let's see if we have done it here before. الرجل ra. If it's a good idea if it's salam shamsiya, or if it's salam qamariya, to add a sukun on the top of the lam like that. It's a good idea, so that you know that you have to say it. If you don't, that's fine. يتنفس الرجل. يتنفس الرجل الهواء or هواء, or make it الهواء. That's fine. the air. Okay, so الهواء. You can add it also to the vocabulary. This is air. الهواء. So this way you can easily do the homework because you can just see what I'm doing and be able to do it again. Okay, we said لام الهواء لام شمسية و الهواء. الهواء is منصوب because it has فتحة at the end, so it's منصوب because فتحة is for منصوب right here. فتحة is منصوب. Okay, so that's منصوب, so we just keep it. But I can say هواء. يتنف هواء. This is like the kind of the root form. The root is هواء. So you change the root by adding alif lam, so it becomes الهواء. الهواء, and then you change this from ضمة to فتحة. Why? Because here it's given in the root form. The root form is مرفوع. Default for root form is مرفوع. So that was مرفوع ضمة. The حركة for مرفوع is ضمة. Then we change that to فتحة because the فتحة is for منصوب. So الهواء. Okay. Are you guys following me? Okay. You can always reverse. You can exchange. You can exchange this with this like that. The subject and the object can exchange places. They can all exchange places.